All right. Hi, everyone. Welcome to class today. And we're going to be running through 30 minutes of a more beginner foundational Pilates workout. So let's start sitting up near the front of your mat with your knees bent. We're going to roll back into our upper up curl for hundreds to warm up the body and get ready to go for the rest of the half hour. So as you look straight ahead, your hands can be to the back of your thighs. Begin with the pelvic tuck. So you curve the tail forward like someone's pulling your tail along the mat forward towards your feet. And you release your body down 1 inch, one vertebra at a time. So you roll over your sacrum, down over your hips, down to the waist, to the base of the ribs, and then to the tip of the shoulder blades. We stop there in what we call an upper up curl. Pull the right leg in, bend the elbow wide and forward to hold the leg up and hold your body up with some support. Bring the other leg in and press the legs together, line them up in what we call tabletop position, 90 degrees at the hip and the knees. Come up a little bit higher, use your arms to shift your body weight up so that your head floats up to the ceiling as you look down at your abs. And then you can extend the arms forward at your side, hold yourself here from your abdominal wall, start pumping the arms, inhaling for 5 beats and exhale for 5 more. Now gravity is going to work to try to lay you flat. Resist it by coming up and keep your gaze fixed forward and down on the navel. If you feel like this is too easy, not for the upper abs, because of course they should be like screaming at you right now, but if your low abs feel like they're not working that hard, you can stretch the legs up to the ceiling. Knees can be straight or bent if your hamstrings are tight, and then gradually lower the legs away until you feel this low abdominal wall tighten up while you're still pumping the arms. You try to lift the head, lift the chest, and picture your sternum sliding down towards the navel, equal weight on both sides of the body. If your neck starts to bother you, you have the option of taking one hand behind your head or even laying your head down, in which case you would lift the legs higher and pull them in to protect your low back. But otherwise, we're up just for 2 more breaths. As you look down the midline, be sure you're equally balanced here, right and left side, and the legs are pushing into each other to keep them centered as well. And good. From here, then, we fold the knees in, lay your head down and lower the toes and the feet to the mat. Open the arms out, and you'll probably appreciate a little knee sway and head turn about now. So let your knees fall to the right and turn your head to the left, lifting your left hip off by keeping the left shoulder blade on the mat. Reach long through your fingertips and exhale. Pull the knees and the nose back to center. Now as the knees go left, you'll turn your head to the right. Reach across the room with your arms, stretch long, and then pull yourself back to center just one more time, gliding the legs over to one side. You'll feel the tug, the pull across the left hip here. And then exhale, use your obliques to pull your left side down, and that will lift the knees for you. That's a little different than letting the knees fall and move the knees to move the hips. We're going to try to move the hips now to move the knees. So we're going to lift the right hip to let the knees go down to the left. And then I'm going to pull the right hip down using the oblique abdominals, massaging across the back to bring the knees back up to the ceiling. And here we go into roll back first and then into roll up. So let's pull one knee into the chest, extend the other leg out in the diagonal, tip your chin to your chest, head off the mat, and then push both legs up to come up to a sitting position. Roll back. You could be using your TheraBand around your feet. You can also do that for the full roll up, which just means mainly the difference is in roll back, the knees are bent. And we're holding onto the band here, or you don't have to use it, but I'm going to pick up my elbows so you can see my spine. You're trying to, again, imprint the spine down one vertebra after the next. Go all the way down here and lay yourself down. Head is back, and then you float the head up. Pull the elbows wide. That will mean that the shoulder blades will widen on your back so the ribs can fall back into that space. And you can even dive over and bring your head down by your knees to get more stretch in the low back, and then roll it all the way up to sit up tall and feel your best posture. If you don't need the band, don't use it, and just either have your hands to your thighs or your hands forward. And as you come down, you're going to control the descent of your spine to the mat with the releasing of the abdominal wall, coming down inch by inch, one vertebra at a time, and then you can lift from here to come on up. Bend your spine curve. Most people will need initially to bring their hands to their thighs to pull them up, and eventually you won't need that. But it's more about getting the feeling in the right place in your body, in your core, in your spine. and not being so worried about what variation you're using. We want the variation that's best for your body. You can continue like that, or if you would like to do the full roll up, the legs fully extended away. You stretch them down the mat, feet are flexed and the legs are together. Sit upright here to begin, maybe bend the knees if you need to be vertical, and then curving your way back, sinking it down. So you push forward through the feet, you roll your spine out, the tail rises until you get down to the base of the ribs and the tail flattens, and you go all the way down to the mat. There should be a little tension on the strap here to move your shoulders away from your ears and coming up. Now, as you come closer, you want to pull the elbows wide and bend your spine again, coming forward, curving the back, sinking the belly back into the spinal curve, and then diving down, try to bring your forehead down by your knees. Bend the knees as necessary. I'd like you to feel that stretch in the hamstrings, the back of your legs, and the low back, and then lift coming up. The belly lengthens to the same length as your back, and then we round the back here by rotating the pelvis and going back again slowly. Reach out through your legs, really stretch them, push them forward. If they lift, you can always maybe look for a set of ankle weights to take on top of them, or hook them possibly under like the edge of a sofa. And we're lifting to come up again. Diving forward. Think of the head drawing an arc through the air. As you bow down, you bend forward. You stretch out your back. You stretch out the back of your legs. And then float all the way up to sit up tall. And we'll just do one more, whether you're doing the roll back or the full roll down with the legs straight. We'll suck the belly into the curve of your back. And try to place your spine down easily, like you're taking a pearl necklace down, one beautiful glossy pearl at a time. Let it rest into black velvet here as you go all the way down. Finally, the last pearl and the clasp go down into the velvet. And now from here, let's just pull the right leg out. And we'll work with the left leg today first. So you can pull that leg in and lift the foot up. It's still in the bend. And we reach up through the heel and pull the toes down to get a little more stretch here in the back of your leg. Soft point through the foot and maybe take the leg a little lower away from your gaze. And we begin the circle. So inhale, it goes across the body. The left side of the body stays heavy as you pull the leg over to the right. Now think the right side of the body gets heavy as the left leg moves to the left. Bring the leg up and you're drawing the largest circle you can without shifting your pelvis, right? So we want to keep the body stable on the mat here. And the band will help support the weight of your leg to make it a little easier. But you have to literally think, I'm getting heavier, I'm sinking into quicksand on the left side, so my leg reaches right without shifting my body weight. Now I'm going to push down through the right side of my torso, hip, waist, ribs, shoulder, even the head and the neck, in order to stay stable there while the leg circles. We also work on the breath. It's a short inhale and then a long, slow exhale for the circle. You'd like to think of inhaling for the first quarter and then exhaling for the last bit, all the rest of the way around the circle. Let's do one more. The leg rotates internally to cross to feel the stretch across the hip and the IT band, and then the leg skims low, out to the side, bring it up to the ceiling. I'm using the back of my arms to also help me stabilize. Now reverse. The right arm presses down as you pull the left leg out to the left in external rotation. Your hands pivot from the elbow so that the forearm and the hands follow the angle of the leg and the band. Short inhale to take the leg away from center, the right side heavy through the whole length of the leg, through the whole length of the torso. And then around you go, exhaling and exhaling and exhaling and exhaling to bring the leg up to the ceiling. The knee might be bent if your hamstrings are tight either today or normally. We want to accommodate where the body is and not force it into something it's not ready for yet. But this series is great for opening and stretching the muscles in the legs, strengthening the core, and then also opening and releasing your hip if it's just a little tight from sitting too much, which is really common right now in these Zoom days. All right, so at the top, let's take both ends of the band in your left hand, right hand on your hip bone, and then you rotate the leg externally and let the leg go out to the side. It drops towards the floor, but you're not allowing the hip bone to come up. If the hip is shifted, if you've rotated your body to take the leg lower, don't do it. Pick up the leg, pull the right hip down, and then work it so you feel your center, you feel your core as you bring the leg away. That will give you a better stretch on the inner thigh also. And then rock the leg gently here. Your gaze would be up. I'm looking at the screen to see the people in my class today. And then we'll lift the leg up. Use your pelvic floor, the upper inner thigh to lift the leg and switch hands. So the right hand holds the strap and you take the left leg across the body, extend the arm out along the floor. I'm on an elevated surface, so I can drop my hand lower, but it still works to reach it across the ground here. And you look this time at that left hand as you try to stretch it to the far wall. The leg goes over, the hip spirals up, the waist spirals up, the ribs spiral up, but the shoulder blade on the left stays down. And then we're going to rotate that left thigh on the hip joint to turn the knee and the toe to the floor. Good. You'll feel a bigger stretch across the glute here and into the low back. You're also getting a chest opening from this rotation by keeping the shoulder blades grounded. And now we exhale and we pull that left hip down to lift the leg up. So I'm not moving from my foot, I'm moving from my center. And then you can pull the knee into your chest, band comes off, hug the leg in tight and shoot the other leg longer. Try to press the back of the right leg into the ground as you pull the left leg in as tight as your knee will allow. And then release that leg forward. Shake out both legs. They get a little shake to relax your muscles. And then even if you take your hands to your hip bone crest, you might feel that the left hip bone crest here has angled more out at the side. You've actually not only released muscles in the leg, but also in the pelvic girdle. So that changed the pelvic half position here. Let's pull the right knee in. And we'll take the band around the foot, lift the foot up to the ceiling, pull your elbows long by your waist so that you're not hiking your shoulders up by your earlobes. And then you can start a little low with the leg, but then bring it up to the place where you feel a healthy stretch in the back of the thigh. Remember, you don't want too much stretch at the back of the knee or at the sits bone, which is the hamstring attachment there. But you want to lift the leg, maybe flex the foot to get more stretch in the calf as well, or point the foot and then pull the leg back a little further to focus the stretch on your hamstring. In either case, we're going to point the foot slightly now and lower it away from its most vertical position, and we start the circle across the body. Start with your inhale, and then exhale. You pivot from the elbows, keeping the upper arms grounded. You're exhaling all the way around and drag the leg up to the ceiling. The body stays level on the mat. So the movement of your leg should not be tipping your hips. And the movement of the circle, the movement of your leg should be large enough. The circle should be big enough that you really feel that you have to work your center to hold your body stable and grounded here without floating one pelvic half or the other off the floor because of the weight and movement of your leg. So you stretch away, you reach long, but you're focused also on stabilization through the middle of your body, through that torso. You internally rotate the leg to push into the strap. Keep reaching further and further out with the leg as if you're trying to draw a beautiful spiral in the air here. You always want to reach. We think about opposition a lot, so I'm reaching out through my foot and pulling back and deep into the part of my body that's grounded. Let's come to the top and reverse. Rotate externally, take the leg out to the side. The hands follow the movement of the leg around. You can, of course, also do this without a TheraBand, but the movement would probably not be as large and you wouldn't get as good of a stretch. But with that, using the band will not only support the weight of the leg, but also teach you to keep reaching further and further out through the center of the leg, through the center of the foot, so that you feel this sense of elongation and length in the whole leg. We'll do one more. So we're going to bring it to the top. Inhale, take it away from center, and exhale all the way low. Skim it across the other leg, pick it up high, and feel that stretch again in the back of your leg. And then we can fold the knee in. The band comes off the foot and just place it at your side. Pull that knee into your chest. And again, here the other leg, the standing leg, we call it, presses into the ground as the working leg, the one that we just circled, pulls in tight to your body. And then release that right leg down next to the left one. Give them both a little shake. And now if you take your hands to your hips, you can feel that both hip bones are now more level. They're pointed both out slightly on a diagonal. You've opened across the front and got a little more engagement into the back. So now I'm just going to center myself on my mat so that you don't have to avoid the wall for the next exercise, rolling like a ball. So let's pull the right knee into your body, and easier to take the hand behind the thigh, more difficult to take it to the shin. Pull the other leg in, the left leg in, and lift the leg up. We're rocking forward and up to sitting. So lift and pull yourself forward. Come all the way up to your seated position. And now here, we bend the knees. Hands, again, easier at the thighs, more difficult at the shins. We'll pick the feet up as we rock back to balance on the sacrum. Pull the hands back and push the shins forward. Look down at your abs. Inhale to lift the tail, roll back to your shoulder blades. And exhale, come forward to your balance point. So you roll. Your spine is as round as can be. You want to be as ball-like as possible. And it's definitely an inhale until the tip of the blades touch. You start the exhale now, and that deep exhale will carry you through and up to your balance point here. You also are thinking about rolling in a straight line up and down the mat. If I use like one side of my body too much, either because I'm just naturally stronger there from maybe other activities, or because I'm not focused, your body will tip to one side. If you can roll in a straight line, that's showing that you're aligned and that you're working the two sides equally. Roll back here, balance on the shoulders, the head never touches the ground. And now from there, we're going to go back into your first of the ab series. So we'll take your right hand to the right ankle, your left hand to the right knee, lift the left leg up and push it away. That's going to be a counterbalance for you. As you roll back to your upper up curl, the elbows go wide, look down your midline. Inhale, we switch the legs. If you need an assist for your head, you could take a ball behind your shoulders or under your head and neck. And we're going to pull one leg in and the other leg out. Pull the leg in tight and push the shin up into your arm so you really engage your arm, engage your core. And then you release it, but you try to hold the same position of your spine, the same work into your center as you stretch one leg long and the other one in deep. And switch your hands. Always outside hand to the ankle, right hand to the right ankle here, and then left hand to the left ankle there. We'll just do one more set. And you can adjust the leg position, right? If it feels fine for you to go low, do it. If it needs to be up here, do that. So just, you're always working at your working level, which means the work that suits your body without overwhelming it. Lay your head down, lay your feet down, and let's just open the arms here and turn your head easy from one side to the other. So look at one hand, roll across and look at the other hand. This will open your chest. Remember, if your neck is really tight because your chest is tight, you may need to have a folded towel under your head whenever you're laying down on your back. And now we're pulling both knees into the chest. Use your arms to help you lift your shoulders, your neck, your head up. You're rounding your spine. And you could even like wiggle a little bit to come lower onto the rib cage. Look down at your belly and you push the shins up into the hands as you press the hands down into the legs. You should feel that in your biceps. You really feel your arms as well as your abs. Now inhale, arms and legs lift to the ceiling, stretch to the fingers and the toes. Circle the arms wide, like really take up the whole room. As you fold the legs in, you embrace the legs in. And think of this as moving from the shape of a hammock to the shape of a ball. So as you reach the arms and legs up, if you can keep your head high and you're back from falling to the mat, you can push the arms back and the legs forward. However, if you take the arms and legs further away from each other, like so, and the body flattens, that's not any good. You'll arch your back and you could hurt yourself. So we want to focus on using the weight of the limbs to challenge your ability to stay deep in that curve, deep in the abdominal workout. And let's do one more. Stretch away and exhale, embrace everything in. Lay your head down and we're getting ready for scissors. So for scissors, you can lift both legs up to the ceiling, hands to the back of your leg, push the left leg away, come up to your upper curl and bring your hands as high up towards your foot as you can. So you're reaching here, you're stretching the leg, you're stretching the arms, and we release and switch the legs. You want to cut through the air with straight legs. Of course, if your hamstrings are tight, the knee will bend as it lifts to the ceiling, but then definitely straighten it again as you lower it. Look down at your belly and not up at your feet. They're going to work even if you don't look at them. I promise you that. And look right down your midline between your legs, watching them track directly in front of the hip joint as you go. We'll end with the left leg up in the air. Bring your hands behind your head, support it. Both legs can lift and then fold the knees and lower them down. Lay yourself out. All right. From here, we're going to practice a couple of the side kick series. But after we do your spine stretch, which is the next exercise normally in the series. So let's pull the left knee in, lift the right leg up to the ceiling, and look forward, come up off the ground, rock forward and up. Open the legs, stretch them here, and extend the arms forward, reaching them out like a sleepwalker. You press down through the arms, you lift up through your halo and up through your chest. Look down, chin to chest, feel the weight of your head, stretch your neck, and then you're diving forward, out, over and down, pulling the waist back and diving forward with the head, neck, shoulders, ribs. The waist pulls back into your spine. Push down through your legs, sink your tail into the center of the earth and come up, lifting the body, coming up. The back picks you up 1 inch at a time. And then we go down again. So Pilates, we're always looking at how we sequence the spine and move one vertebra after the next. Try to feel that sequential articulation as you go over. Suck the belly back. Imagine rolling yourself over a beach ball and take on the shape of the ball. So it's not necessarily the idea of getting flat to the ground. It's more of coming forward and wrapping your body around that invisible ball and then letting it roll up the front of your body. So you sit up with your best posture, perched right on your sits bones, not behind them, not in front of them. One more. It's always an inhale up and an exhale over. And of course, if you run out of air because you're moving slowly, take another breath. I'd rather you breathe than not breathe. It's like a really good strategy for life too, as well as Pilates. And then we're going to press through the legs and come all the way up. Let the shoulders fall and the chest widen. And last time we go down. And we're just going to hold on to wherever you can, feet, ankles, calves, whatever. Just try to stretch forward and suck the belly back into the spine, giving it a little bit more rounding wherever it's tight. And then release your hands, slide them up your leg, come vertical. Okay, we're going to pull the legs together and lay over on your side. For the side kicks, when you lay them down, you want to think your spine is in a straight line from your head to your shoulders to the back of your head, and the legs reach forward on a slight diagonal. I think of them like the kickstand. And you definitely want to be stacked, like you don't want to be laying back with the hip behind you or in front of you. You're trying to find your side seam and lay right on it. This bottom arm, this is one option. You hold behind the ear. Another option is to lay the head down on the arm. And sometimes you'll need like a little pad between the arm and the head in order to keep the neck happy. But if I'm here, I'm not just totally collapsed and laying onto my armpit. I'm going to pull that elbow in slightly and get a feeling of lift here and engagement into the area right under my chest. Same thing with the other hand. At this level, the hand presses down in front of your chest and you spread the hand open. The palm pushes into the ground. The fingers reach out, spread like a starfish. And now we stretch the top leg, in this case, the right one, long and try to match up to the other one. So I ended up with a little lift in my waist and a feeling of work into the lower line of my body. So as I push the hands down, I feel the core and I lift the top leg up hip height. Flex the foot and you kick the heel forward, double beat. Pulse it 1, 2, point the foot and then push the leg back and reach it back, open the hip and pulse 1 and 2. Flex to go forward. Now the bottom leg has to really push into the ground to help you stabilize. And I'm also pressing into my right hand to hold my body still. What tends to happen when you're new to this is that you lean back when the leg goes forward and you tend to lean forward as the leg goes back. And that minimizes your ability to strengthen your core and also stretch the leg where you need to stretch it in this series. Come back to center and we lower the leg down. And now we're going to pick the leg up, hip height, and we're rotating from the hip socket. So right in the crease between pelvis and leg, about 2.5 inches from the center of the pubic bones. You can take your index finger in here and then rotate from that point, internal rotation, external rotation. This way I'm spinning the thigh bone, the femur on the socket, instead of rotating from my hip like this, which is what many people will do because they're not actually sure where their hip joint is. But if you keep the pelvis level and stacked and rotate from the femoral head here, you're going to get the work you need to really access the muscles in your glutes and still get a nice rotation of the thigh bone on the joint. Once you do your external rotation, that means knee and toes up, lower the leg. We'll take the hand back, point the foot and lift the leg up. Of course, it's working from that same spot. It's working from the hip joint, and then reach the heel out and down. Point to lift the leg up, kick it high, flex and push it down long. Try to bring the heel to the heel. You'll feel that length in your waist. Now we flex to go high, and then we point to go down. So we've changed the foot position, flex and lift again, and point to take it down. Now, until you develop more opening here, you may end up thinking that you'll roll back to kick up the leg. Don't do it. It's not worth it. You've got to keep your pelvis stacked here as you bring the leg up and as you pull it down. And if your level is here, that's where you are. You'll develop more as you work correctly. So from here, just so that we don't run out of time, just like onto your stomach. There's more in the series, but those 3 will work for right now. And we're going to rest your forehead down on your overlapped hands or on the mat. But actually overlapping the hands is better because then you can breathe and also your head and neck stay in line with your back. Rotate the legs externally. Just pick up the right leg, feeling that work in the glute and the hamstring, and then bring it down. And as we lift the left leg, think of pushing the left hip bone crest into the ground. Again, I'm not trying to lift the leg and rock off the ground. I'm keeping my hip bone point down into the floor. And you want to keep working through the glutes here and not getting a rotation in your spine. So the pelvis is heavy, like it's filled with sand, and you lift the leg, even though it's in turnout, you're still keeping the pelvis flat on the floor, and then bring that down. Sit back in your child's pose. That's the warm up for grasshopper. Get used to working from the right spot, working into your glutes. Stack your spine, come up, and we turn around to the other side. So lay it out, check that you have room to move. That was really for me, but also for you. And the legs stretch forward. Now the hand presses in to the floor, to the mat, right in front of your chest. You pull your elbow into your waist. There should be like a little mouse tunnel here. A little mouse could run underneath the armpit. And as you stretch the top leg long, your waist also floats off the ground slightly too. So we started with the flexion and extension. Again, we're working from that hip socket here in the crease. So when you lift the leg up and you bring that top leg forward, think you're reaching back through your tail and your sits bone so that your butt is still sticking out. And then you point the foot and take it back. And then as we bring it forward, again, what we're trying not to do is like round the back and curve it. Like you can go further if you bend from your waist, but that's really not the point of the exercise. The point of the exercise is to keep the stability in your torso and reach long with the leg out of the hip socket, whether the leg is moving forward. I'm lengthening my hip, my waist, and I'm reaching back through the tail and the sits bone. That gives me more stretch in the back of the leg and the hamstring. Point the foot and sweep it back and open the hip like so. And with this exercise, as you press down into your arm, you can do a little double beat and then a little double beat, taking it back to get a little more stretch and a little more challenge. Come back to center and we lower the leg. We're going to lift the leg here and rotate internally and externally. So I'm spiraling it. Like the work in the glute medius here and in my glute. The glute max is mainly covering the back. The body is stable. This one doesn't take that much effort, right? Because the leg is in the same plane as the body. So I'm not fighting gravity. I'm not fighting any tightness in my hip. Lower the foot down. Point the foot and we lift the leg up. Flex the foot and we push it on down. Point to go high and flex to go low. Point to lift and flex to close. Now reverse, flexing up and point to stretch it down. Flex and lift and point to reach it long. Good. And then from here, I do believe our time is up. All right. So thank you. We'll be continuing more with the